3, 2, 1, start. Hello everybody, my name is Niall Power Sieger. I produce documentations regarding universal communication, so communication with creatures which have lived as human beings once and which then have lost their human body. So their human body died, but they as creatures, they do still exist. They're still able to communicate with some humans and they're still able to present themselves. Today I'm going to communicate with a creature called Michael, and Michael is able to use the wind. That's why you see over here this little wind tool. So when Michael is canalizing wind to the wind tool, you can see that the wind tool starts to shake in the wind and is getting uplifted by the wind. And we're going to use that method to communicate. Which means if Michael wants to say yes to something or want to agree to something I speak out when I ask him questions, he can canalize and trigger the wind to a higher wind level that the wind tool then get uplifted. Right now the wind tool is down, and Michael, can you lift it up a little bit more? Can you canalize some more wind to the wind tool? Michael will start to canalize more wind to the wind tool now. You can see it's not uplifted right now. And Michael, can you start to do so? He's communicating to me yes. So if you watch the wind tool closely, you will see that more and more wind is reaching the wind tool, and the wind tool starts to get uplifted. So the wind tool starts to stand in the wind. And you can see that he's triggering and canalizing now more and more wind to the area, and he's uplifting the wind tool with it. So that's important to understand the principle of the communication. So in this video, if you want to understand the creator Michael, you have to watch out for the wind tool to understand. And he's agreeing to that by canalizing more wind to the wind tool right now. And you can see when I spoke it out, he pushed the wind tool with the wind tool. Michael, can you do me a favor and can you present it one more time? And he's doing it now again. You can see it was pushed, so uplifted. So I have two cameras over here. One is filming me from the distance. The other camera over here is filming the wind tool only, not me. And I use that as a microphone as well. So that's why this camera is not filming me, it's just filming the wind tool. And I hope the sound is okay. I hope the camera do capture the sound very well. I'm not sure about that, but I hope you have a good sound there. I'm gonna help a little bit here for 1 second. So I have a little friend over here, it's a joint. I'm gonna start to smoke a joint and then I'm gonna start to communicate with the creator Michael. And Michael, you think that's okay, right? Because you produce a lot of wind now. And you can see he's uplifting the wind tool a lot with the wind waves. Also, if you watch the plants behind me, if you have a huge screen, if you watch it on a huge television screen or something, then you can also watch out for the plants behind me, because when Michael is canalizing a lot of wind into this area, of course the leaves of the plants of the trees do start to shake as well. So it's not only the wind tool, it's the whole area which is getting influenced with that wind. And Michael, if I communicate with Michael now, Michael, it would be good that between the wind waves, that you make it possible that there's no wind for a moment always, so that the wind tool comes down again. And then if you want to communicate, you can send wind again. And you saw when I spoke it out, the wind tool was going down a bit because there was directly less wind. And Michael is triggering some more wind into the area now to agree to that. Okay? So it's very important, Michael, that in between, it's very important that you organize a situation where in between there's no wind in the area, so that the wind tool is just hanging there without any wind. And then if you want to communicate, want to agree to stuff I speak out, or so you can lift the wind tool up again with the wind. but then the people can better understand. Now for the people who are going to demonstrate, now the wind tool is just hanging there. There is not much wind in the area. And now Michael is going to start to canalize more wind to the area in a second, and then the wind tool is going to be uplifted again. Michael, can you do that now? He's canalizing more and more wind into the area now, and you can see the wind tool is getting uplifted again. So that's how you can recognize its communication, specific communication. Okay, that was a demonstration for you, the people which are watching the video, so that you have 2-3 demonstrations in that video to understand the principle of the communication, and that you know what you have to watch out for, because it's not so easy if you're not used to watch videos like that. So I'm gonna light up my joint. By the way, we are doing this video because Michael wants to communicate with his family members. Michael, can you organize the situation again where there's not so much wind in the area? Then I can ask you the question and you can answer them later. You can see now the wind tool is hanging again. Please, less wind, less wind. You can see the wind tool is hanging now, okay? So Michael, it's true, you want to say hello to your family members, right? And you want to communicate with them in this video, you want to say hi, you want to tell them how you are and stuff like that, and that's why we produced this video. If that's right, then please start to canalize more wind into the area now that the wind tool starts to fly in the wind again. And for the people, please watch out. Michael will canalize now more wind into this area, so he will uplift the wind tool again. So Michael, you can start now. And I describe you what I see. More and more wind is reaching this wind tool. It's getting uplifted, but it's getting uplifted in the direction of this camera. So you have to use more wind that the people can see clearly, or you have to push it in this direction. He's presenting the golden star. So check out the star. I'm pointing with my finger at the star. This wind tool, there's one side have a golden star, the other side have no golden star. The golden star means yes for me, Niall, when he communicates with me to solve specific issues, to solve specific questions. So the one side, with the one side he can say no, and when he turns the star directly, showing the star into my eyes, the golden star on the wind tool, then it means yes. And that was a specific turn of the wind tool, so he said yes. He's turning the wind tool now. You could see on the other side there's no golden star. Okay, so he's presenting you the other side for this camera over here. Hopefully you can understand that. So you can uplift the wind tool with wind, what he's doing now, and you want to say yes, you want to communicate towards your family with this video and to say hi to them and everything, right? And he's uplifting the wind tool now. He's pushing it with more and more wind for you. You see that? He's using a lot of wind to make that point clear. So he wants to say hello to his family members. And with Michael, the creator, he has lived as a man before, as a human. And a lot of you people which are watching the video have maybe heard of him, because he was a very famous musician. The wind tool is now down again. And Michael, please let it be down, so no wind for a moment, and then I can ask you the question, you can identify yourself better. He's agreeing to that. So I'll wait a second now, give him the chance to that less wind is in the area, so the wind tool is hanging again. Now it's down again, and now he can identify himself. Michael, it's true, you are the creator of Michael Jackson, that's right. If that's right, please canalize more and more wind and uplift the wind tool if you want to agree to that. And for the people, please watch out the wind tool now. He's going to use more wind. He's going to uplift the wind tool to agree to that. So Michael, please make that more clear. You want to make that more clear? Yes. Okay. Then start to uplift the wind tool again. He's communicating by poles with me as well at the same time, so it's very stressful for me to make everything transparent. But he communicated to me, I should ask him again regarding his identification. So you are creator Michael Jackson, the creator who have lived as the man Michael Jackson, and you want to identify yourself as Michael Jackson and you want to communicate with your family with this. Are all these things correct? If all these things correct, please use a little bit more wind and uplift the wind tool clearly, so that the people can see that very clearly when they watch the video. I would use a little bit more wind even than that. I would push it. I would let it fly. Michael is communicating by doors with me that he's gonna do that. He's presenting me the golden star to say yes. So now the wind tool is hanging at this moment in time. And Michael, you want to identify yourself as Michael Jackson, so please use more wind and push the wind tool. You can see that more wind is getting used now, and he's pushing the wind tool with wind. The problem is this metal thing where the wind tool is hanging at, it's a little bit hanging in that metal thing at the moment. But he's pushing it with more wind. Michael, I think we should repeat that one more time so that your identification is clear, because that was in the beginning not clear. And I would, if I can give you a tip, I would canalize the wind in a way that the wind tool is getting pushed over here into this direction, because then this camera can film it the best way, and hopefully it's not the whole time hanging in the metal. So you want to agree, you want to identify yourself as the creator Michael Jackson. That's correct, right? And if that's correct, please use more wind, and please push the wind tool again with more. And for the people, please watch out what you're going to see now. The wind tool is hanging, and Michael wants to agree, so he's going to start to show the golden star to the camera, which means yes. And he's going to push now with more and more wind the wind tool. So you see it's flying backwards. The wind is coming from this direction. So Michael, can you shake the wind tool a little bit with wind? So can you canalize the wind in a way that there's more movement? And he's moving the wind tool. Can you see that? Okay. So I would say use one more time a lot of wind to make clear that you are Michael Jackson, the creator, so that your family members can understand that. I'm going to send the video to you. Sorry, but he had some questions. He produced them. So, one more time. Use more wind. He's using more wind, and the wind tool is getting pushed again against this metal thing over here. The problem is, sometimes when he uses the wind, you can see that this wind tool is hanging in the metal. So that's why I gave you the tip, Michael, to push the wind tool into this direction, so over here. But I don't know, it's not so easy. It's very specific. He's presenting me the star, which is saying yes. Okay? So, for those of you which do not know that, I already produced some documentations with the creator Michael Jackson, and we already produced some videos for his sister, Janet Jackson, and we did it a few years ago. And in the videos he also used wind, and he used another method as well. But mainly we produced wind videos where he was using it. And Michael is agreeing to that. So he's pushing the wind tool now more and more, so that you can see that the wind is triggering the tool right now and it's flying in the wind, to agree to the fact that we already produced videos for his sister and his family members. So I lighted up the joint. Let me enjoy the joint for a moment, and let me drink a little bit of cola. So for the people which are watching videos like that the first time, there are a few things I want to say. The first thing is, see, when we start communication like that, maybe the creator I'm communicating with, in that case Michael Jackson, needs a moment to optimize himself in the way how he's canalizing the wind into this area and how to use the wind tool. So in the beginning of the videos, it's often the case when I communicate with creators that the videos are getting better if you watch them a little bit longer. Because in the beginning of the videos, when you start the communication, there can be a misunderstanding. The identification has to be done of the creature so that we know that we are communicating with. And the creature has to practice to use the wind again to communicate with me, depending on the area where I am. Michael, can you agree to that? The wind tool is hanging now, as you can see, so there's no wind. Michael, can you agree to that by canalizing more wind to the wind tool and by uplifting the wind tool? Michael wants to do that? Yes. The answer I received as a thought in my head is yes, and he starts to uplift the wind tool now with more wind, and you can see that the wind tool starts to shake more. Before it was hanging quiet. Let's repeat that one more time to make it clear. Can you uplift the wind tool one more time? He's saying yes to me again in my thoughts, and now he's gonna canalize more wind. Use a little stronger wind. So he's communicating to me just a second, so he will collect some wind in the area where we are, to say it like that, and then he will canalize the wind. Let me know when you want to start. We can start. Okay. So he told me we can start. So now watch the wind tool. Watch it closely because Michael gonna start now to canalize more wind to the wind tool. Communicating with Michael at the moment in my thoughts, so just give me a moment because I have to understand him. I have to ensure that it's Michael and stuff like that. Okay, you're gonna uplift the wind to me. You're gonna do it or not? Yes. Yes. Okay, start it. And you can see that a little bit more wind is reaching the wind tool. Please use a little bit more wind than that, so use more wind, just make it stronger so that it's clear. If you use a lot of wind, it's clear. If you don't use a lot of wind, it's not so clear for the people which are watching the video. And he's using more wind. You can see that the wind tool is moving. Where I point my hand, he's moving the wind tool. And you're gonna canalize a little bit more wind? Yes, he's presenting the star, so he turned the star a little bit directly to my eye view, so that I had it in my view directly. So then do that. You can see the wind tool is moving and he's pushing with wind into the wind tool. He's doing it a little bit more at the moment when I point my hand. Hopefully you could see. So it depends. To outread that communication is a little bit difficult if you are not used to it, especially if just a little bit wind is used like it was the case. That's why I requested from Michael to use more wind, stronger wind. He's agreeing to that, he's trying that. He's communicating to me that he's gonna try that to use higher wind levels. And he's pushing the wind tool with wind now to agree to that. See? And now he's pushing it again into this metal structure. The wind tool is hanging. Okay, because that's easier to see for the people. Like, if you use more wind, it's easier to see. And there's one thing, when you sit here at this moment in time where the communication is happening, it's much easier to feel the wind, to see the wind. If you watch a video later, the video doesn't transport what you can realize when you would be here at this moment in time. Because you can see more, you can feel the wind on the skin and stuff like that. Michael is agreeing to that. Okay? That's why he's pushing now the wind tool. See that? He's pushing it, and the wind tool is hanging in the metal structure because of the wind which is pushing the wind tool against it. So I'm gonna ask Michael a few questions, and in between, before I ask a question, I request from Michael that the wind tool is hanging loose, so that there's no wind in the area, and the wind tool is just hanging loose. And then I can ask him questions. He can answer with wind, and then we let the wind tool hang loose again, so that there's no wind, that you always can see the difference. Michael is agreeing. Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna smoke the joint. I'm gonna wait a short moment, and when the wind tool is hanging loose again, so that no wind is in this area, then I'm gonna ask him the first question. And in my thoughts, I'm gonna communicate the question to him already, and I'm already getting the answer, so that I know how to spell it out, how to communicate with him when we have this like that. Okay, the first thing Michael wants to communicate is to his family members and so that he's feeling good at it. He's having a good time, no suffering, no pain. Is that what you want to communicate? And he's pushing the wind tool. You can see that. When I spoke it out, the reaction was directly he canalized more wind and pushed the wind tool with the wind into the metal structure. Okay, so the first question is solved. The wind tool is hanging loose again. My next question would be, and I'm sure I know the answer, you would love to be able to communicate with your family members directly in a way that they can communicate with you and understand you. Yes, definitely is the answer he did send by thoughts. So he's gonna canalize more wind, please now. If you want to agree to that, then please canalize more wind and push the wind tool again, maybe into the metal structure like we did before, so with wind. He's presenting the star to the camera. See that? Which means yes. And now he's gonna start to canalize more wind. Please watch out for the wind tool. And I request a little bit more wind. I would use more wind. I can see that the wind tool is already getting pushed a little bit, but I would lift it up and pushing it into the metal structure. And that's what he's doing right now. Watch that, he's doing it right now, okay? So with that, Michael Jackson confirms that he would love to be in a situation or to see a situation coming up where his family members would have contact with him directly in a way that they understand it, and that they can ask questions and that the question can get solved and stuff like that. And during I speak out, he's canalizing the wind strongly so that you understand that's what you would like to see, his wish in a way. So sorry, I'm enjoying still the joint, and I wanted to drink a little bit cola. I'm gonna do that now. It's my first joint in a long time, long time. Because I'm not so rich, and I'm often traveling to Ireland this year because I would love to see my family members and stuff like that. And because I'm not rich, I don't have money, I have to save money for these journeys and for these trips. So weed is very seldom in my life in the past months where I traveled so often. And Michael is agreeing to that by canalizing a lot of wind. So Michael's gonna practice a little bit, and he's canalizing more wind to agree to that. You can see that the wind tool is flying now, it's very uplifted, he's really flying. He's gonna, when I speak stuff out where he wants to agree, he's gonna, even if there's wind like this, he can push the tool. See, he's pushing it up again, even in a high wind. So for you, let your eyes get used to watch the wind tool closely. Because even if there's wind like this, he can push it up to say yes. And so Michael, please push it up a little bit, one more time to demonstrate that. He's doing that now. And look closely, and he's pushing it. Now, see, when I spoke it out, he was pushing it directly. But that's a question of optimizing for me to speak it out a split second before he's doing that. So that's what you have to let your body get used to watch the videos, your eyes to listen what I speak out, to watch exactly the moment when I speak it out and when he reacts. Because we're gonna train, Michael's gonna train now to canalize the wind a little bit more during the conversation we have. And I'm gonna train you by making all that transference what you have to watch out for. And Michael is agreeing to that. With more wind. See? He's pushing it up. Pushing it up. Put it to my hands here on this side. Yes, he did it. So I pointed a level. The wind tool was on that level. I pointed over here with my finger. He pushed it up to my finger. Let's do that again. See? He's pushing it up to my finger. So that's how specific communication can be. If the creator is trained, so had some time to practice, to get used to the area where I'm filming, and to practice to be specific with the wind and how to use the wind with the wind tool. And Michael is agreeing to that during I speak that out by pushing the wind tool, and I pointed with my finger then, and he even touched my finger with the wind tool. So it's a little bit difficult to make all that transparent, to speak so fast to you, to try to make that everything clear for you that you have a chance. If you never been in a situation where creatures which are that already have communicated with you by using wind, it might be a shock for you, or maybe you don't understand it in the first moment. So I'm trying my best, and Michael is trying his best, that you have the chance to understand it. And he's agreeing to that. He wants to agree to that. And I lift my finger up here, Michael, and watch the wind tool. It's going down now. He's presenting the star, and now he's uplifting it. See? To my finger. And here's at my finger with the wind tool. See that? That's how specific it can be. And you have to understand that's natural communication way. So the wind for me is all nature, you know. So I cannot predict nature in a way that I could have known that Michael will push up the wind tool to my finger and will touch my finger with the wind tool, when I would have not communication with him by thoughts also. Because in that way he can make me understand what he would like to say sometimes, or how he feels, and then I can speak it out and he can agree to something. That's important to understand. So this method of communication is a little bit complex, but it's something I can prove. So Michael have the chance to produce a video for his family in a way that they can see that. And I repeat my offer from the other video, which I produced with Michael, which is online, that if the family members want that, they can send me questions for Michael. So questions where they think only Michael could solve these questions, know what to answer. And then I can ask Michael these questions, and we can produce, for example, a video where we solve the questions, and in that way he can identify himself even better. Or you can contact me and just travel to Germany, and then we do a little session over here, and Michael's going to present himself, going to communicate. He's presenting the star to my eye now, exactly to my eye, and he's uplifting the wind tool. He's making a lot of wind for that, so for the family to understand it, because that's an important point for him. That would be great for him to have that chance, and you would use the chance. So, if you watch the video, I repeat that. You have to watch out for the wind level. Even if there's wind already, watch out for the wind tool. And understand, even if the wind is medium, even if the wind level is already medium, he can push it to a high wind level. And if there's no wind, he can start to canalize wind into this area, to canalize it to the wind tool. And with that, he can agree to stuff. If I ask him questions, or if he wants to say something, to communicate something. When I spoke it out, he turned the golden star into this camera over here. So that's why you later hopefully get a split screen. Okay, Michael, I have a little storage problem with my cell phone, to be honest. So So we shouldn't do the video too long. But we can do another video. So we can do 2 parts. It's just because of my storage problem on the cell phone, the camera will stop filming. So when I start a new video, we have storage. I don't know, there's something wrong with the camera. Okay, Michael understood that. So I want to finish this video, and then I'm gonna start a new one. I'm gonna keep communicating with Michael, and I'm gonna produce directly the second part directly after this one. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and please watch the second part to see more communication. Michael, do you want to invite the people to watch the second part to learn more about universal communication? He's communicating to me, yes, and he's canalizing more wind now to the wind tool, and with the wind tool he's touching my finger at the moment. Do that? Didn't work? Try again. He's trying again, touching my finger. See that? Saw that? So watch out for the second part. Thank you very much for watching, Niall.